So do you completely agree with what General V.K. Singh has said?
Well, it's a very investigative newspaper. I subscribe to it, and it has given very balanced views earlier. It has exposed a lot of corruption cases. This can be counted as an aberration.
But General Oberoi, don't you think that we need a deeper inquiry into the whole episode since it has come into the public domain? For example, did the units which moved carry ammunition? Was it purely an administrative exercise? Who alerted the government? What kind of assessment was done once the alert came about?
Why should there be an inquiry? If you want to have an inquiry, you can have an inquiry on anything. But the best is to drop it as a bad joke. That's all. If you have an inquiry, then there'll be an inquiry on an inquiry, and there'll be no end to it. The distrust which you've talked about, and very rightly, would then become bigger and bigger. You don't want to do that. In fact, both the army chief and the Raksha Mantri, the Minister of Defence, have tried to cool down a couple of days back, but the media does not allow them to cool it down. They keep hammering the same points over and over. But
General Oberoi, the media in this case only brought out the distrust. We all agree there appears to be a distrust. So it only brought out the distrust. If the distrust exists, then the media is only doing its job to bring it out.
No. If it was only a question of distrust, they added to that distrust a story, a fictionalized story in my view, and which created panic in all over India. In fact, everybody is asking what is happening.
General Oberoi, if it did set off alarm bells, then the newspaper was justified in reporting it.
No. If alarm bells are set up by a report, then either the recipients of the reports are so panicky that they don't know what to do about it. I think they should be mature enough, and that is why they are kept there, to see what is the truth, what is falsehood, what is made up, and what is not made up. But I'll tell you something. I don't know whether you're going to raise it later on.
Okay.
There is also a report about the Guardian. You must have read it.
Yes, I saw that.
Right. In which they said some minister came and whispered to the media people who have reported it, that newspaper people, who exactly it was I don't know, but somebody, that this is what had happened, and so on. Now, obviously, to me, it appears a deliberate plant on the behalf of the ministry or the minister or whoever this person is to do down the army.
And this minister is also, supposedly linked with some arms lobby.
That is what the newspaper said. On the other hand, I will also say this, that the Guardian is probably the most unreliable newspaper which I have come across.
General Deepinder Singh, what is your reaction to the newspaper report? Was it alarmist or was it a piece of good journalism? After all, if the distrust exists, the newspaper was within its right to bring it out.
Have you read an article by Mr. Devasayam? Devasayam. He is
a former IAS officer
of Haryana.
That's right. He took premature retirement. Yes. And he's now moved a PIL in the Supreme Court. He's one of the persons who moved a PIL.
He's written an open letter to Mr. Shekhar Gupta.
Okay.
It's worth reading. And he says basically that we have been friends, but after this, I don't consider you as a friend.
So you would subscribe to what Mr. Devasayam says?
I agree that absolutely. This was an alarmist report. It was overreacted to by alarmist people, and there is absolutely no
but now when you say there was possibly an overreaction, so if the newspaper has reported the overreaction, why blame the messenger, the newspaper?
No. The whole problem started with this report.
No, possibly the problem started in mid-January itself if the units were asked to go back. No,
you see, when a paper of the stature of the Indian Express publishes a story that 2 units have moved and panic has set in, then obviously people take it at face value. So what my point is that newspaper justified in publishing such a report, or could it not have given a more balanced account that there appears to be a coincidence that today of all days, 2 units moved out for
But
some
I
kilometers.
thought that is the tone and tenor of the newspaper report. Actually, it only brings out the distrust. It didn't say that a coup was about to happen.
No. Look at the banner headline, the whole front page,
Yeah.
the complete front page of this particular newspaper has nothing but this. It is a sure thing for creating panic when there is no panic.
It's an alarmist.
Mr. Kundra, would you agree that the newspaper was not justified in publishing the so-called distrust possibly which exists?
I tend to agree that the manner in which it has been brought out perhaps is not warranted, because incident took place in January, and if it was such a serious matter, then it would have been leaked out, the government would have come out, some inquiry would have been set up. Let's say, we are saying it needs to be looked into. That means once the explanation might have been offered by the defense establishment that this is the reason why they were moved, and there was a talk or discussion with them, and finally the troops were sent back, the matter ended there and then. Now, even if it has to be brought to the notice of in the public domain, I think it could have been done little more, and as he says, in a more balanced manner, because you could have said that an incident which has taken place really, created some panic which was perhaps unwarranted, and the matter was later resolved and settled.
Mr. Kundra, that brings us to the wider issue.
Okay.
If there is a distrust, who is responsible for it? Is it the MOD, the army headquarters, the army chief, or both?
Yes, I think the basic question, we are coming to the basic question,
Yes.
that unfortunately, I think in the last few years, there is a yawning gap, in this distrust which is coming up between the defense establishment and the ministry for various reasons. I think the army may have some very genuine, grievances and points, where matters keep on pending for a very long time, the procedures are bad. And they may not be listened to, and the defense ministry, I don't know what is there on their side also, but as a matter of fact, the defense ministry is supposed to be a good bridge between the political leadership and the defense establishment. It is supposed to be where all work in a complementing.
But in this case, Mr. Kundra, the feeling of a lot of people is that the army chief has been crossing the so-called Lakshman Rekha too often.
Well, I think he has been outspoken, no doubt about it. And
Where has he crossed the Lakshman? Except for that going to the Supreme Court.
So at least in one case you agree that he did cross the Lakshman Rekha.
No, I think he has been outspoken, no doubt about it. And I think much is being, attributed to him because of the case that he had taken to the Supreme Court, personal case. Because even I think amongst the army establishment, the opinion was divided. It was not that he is pursuing his cause may be right, but the manner in which he is going to the court, whether it is justified or not. I think some said that we in the army believe once it is decided it is fine. But others said like a citizen, he also has a right, and if he is aggrieved, let him agitate.
That's right. General Pranab, moving to the earlier issue, everybody feels that the reports of a coup in this case were far-fetched. But in the Indian environment or in the South Asian environment, can a coup actually happen?
What General Dipinder gave out, you are asking the same question.
That's right.
Can it happen? Yes. And if it has to happen, it has to happen with a consensus, and nobody can stop it. But it will never happen in India. And if a consensus is ever agreed upon, it will be on the issue of corruption. No other issue will there be a consensus within the army or the armed forces.
But you said it will not happen, but there could always be a first time. It has happened in Pakistan and then it has carried on.
I've said it will happen. It cannot happen without a consensus among the army hierarchy, and this consensus can only come about on one issue, which is corruption. On no other issue will there ever be a consensus.
But talking of another issue, General Panal, do you think there is need to change the system which brings about the equation between the army headquarters and the government? The system we have now was perhaps set into motion by Lord Mountbatten, a 3-tier system. Do we need to change that system?
I think there is a requirement of changing the system, and there has to be more interaction Now, what was the need to summon the DGMO to if the newspaper report is true, to the office? He could have been contacted on telephone, ki General, this is what we've received, what do you say? A matter would have finished. And I don't know whether the report is true or not, but if there is more intercommunication, and the distrust will never happen.
Right. General Oberoi, the equation has come under strain many a time. The most notable, of course, was 1959. So do we need to bring about a better system?
Of course. And we've been wanting it, we've been articulating about it, I have written about it, many other analysts have mentioned it.
So you feel that the Chief of Defence Staff is the answer?
Chief of Defence Staff is one aspect. The major thing is this, and I will go to amplify it a little bit. Firstly, this layer of the bureaucracy between the political leadership and the armed forces must go. There is no place for it. Secondly, the Ministry of Defence must be manned by both uniformed personnel and civilians. Thirdly, this is my view, that we must have Department of Army, Department of Navy, Department of Air Force, each headed by a Minister of State and overall presided by the Defence Minister. And all of these departments must have Army people,
Absolutely. You make the point very clear.
And the third, one more,
yes.
And that is this point you mentioned about the integrated, the jointness, the CDS. The CCS, the Cabinet Committee on Security, must get the direct advice from one person on military matters, and that is the CDS.
Will the CDS help, though many people feel that if the CDS system is introduced, the system of checks and balances will go away?
They won't. The CDS, put very simplistically, is the representative of the three services. He is voicing the concerns, the desires of the three services. The most powerful man in India will remain the Army Chief.
How does the bureaucracy look at the CDS system? Most Army men feel that it is the bureaucracy which is stalling the introduction of the CDS.
I really don't know whether really it is bureaucracy or the political level which is installing, or both of them could be, or maybe there is a divergence of opinion within the defence establishment. But I think for an articulated presentation and responses, it may not be a bad idea. Time has come now, because of complexity and other things. And I think the other suggestion which has been made by General Oberoi, that there is need for removing many of the layers, which are taking in bureaucracy a long time for decision making, and that is the right thing to do.
It's heartening to hear that from
No. Because I am saying so, because the proposals, because the defence requirement could be very emergent.
No, and this is all in the national interest. That's what we are discussing.
If everything is to be dealt with in business as usual, because other things can wait. And the procedure which we have given ourselves, it's not that you don't have scrutiny. You will have the same scrutiny, same examination.
Absolutely. Since you're running out of time, General Dipinder Singh, since you're running out of time. Talking of the distrust, I remember in 1959 when there was distrust between the Defence Minister Krishna Menon and the Army Chief General Thimaia. The Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru, had intervened. Is it about time for Dr. Manmohan Singh to intervene and wipe out the distrust?
Oh, he must. After all, he is the head of the government, and he should have stepped in much earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
And given out his views rather than remaining a silent vice the government. And he should have stepped in much earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
And given out his views rather than remaining a silent bystander and allowing this all this loose talk to grow and grow and grow.
Right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us in the discussion. While both the MOD and the Army Chief General V.K. Singh possibly are to blame for the distrust which has crept into the defence establishment, it is the inaction of the government to effectively put a lid on the ongoing controversies in a transparent and fair manner that is adding to it. That is all in Defence Line today. Do write your feedback. Good luck. and goodbye.